My name is Sophie, also known as Sophie Mad to Live. And I am the founder of some international women's surf retreats. I'm also a writer for Surf Girl, a surf coach, and a personal trainer. So I'm really excited to be hosting this morning with you. This talk is all about motivation. We're going to have a surf chat, and then I'm going to open it to the floor, and we're going to do a live Q&A. So you guys, if you're struggling about anything now, we can get to that. But hope you guys are all doing really well. Really stoked to have you join me for a natter. So my life's work's basically to get people stoked and motivated, whether that's in my retreats, in the communication I do through my writing, and how I communicate with people over my different channels. And I do think that the topic of motivation is especially pertinent today. I want to start by saying that don't beat yourself up if you're having days where you just feel demotivated. We are going through an extraordinary circumstance right now, and cutting yourself some slack is also important. So I'm sending a lot of love to anyone who's working out on the front line, anyone who's struggling, or anyone who's been suffering during this time. So staying motivated during times like this is also, it's tricky, guys, and I get a lot of questions about this right now, but I think we can boil it down to be relevant to any kind of situation, actually. And I'm going to give you kind of my game plan of how I stay motivated. If you're just tuning in, my name's Sophie, also known as Sophie Mad to Live. So I have this kind of hit list. People always tell me, oh, how are you so motivated? You always seem so positive. I basically have a toolkit that I rely on to stay motivated. But as I said at the beginning, it is normal to have days, moments where you don't feel so motivated. So cut yourself some slack, especially during times like this. Cool. So one of the biggest challenges in meeting any goal, so whatever your goal is, whether it's related to productivity, maybe you have a new work project, waking up early, changing habits, exercising, learning to surf, nailing that cutback, or just becoming happier, is finding the motivation to do it. So if you can stick with a goal long enough, you'll nearly always get there eventually. It just takes a lot of patience and motivation. So motivation is the key, but it's not always easy day in and day out, I don't think, to find that. And I've had a lot of failures, and I actually think failures are key to motivation as well. We learn a lot from our failures. They can help propel us forward. The motivation is what keeps you driving towards a goal, what keeps you going when things get tough, the reason you get up early, etc. So I'm going to go through my breakdown of ways to stay motivated. Then we'll do the surf chat, and then you can do our Q&A session, guys. My breakdown of how to stay motivated to avoid frustration. This is also super relevant for surfing, where many of us find ourselves in that somewhat annoying plateau, or we really struggle sometimes to get that motivation. That might be putting on your thick wetsuit when you want to go for a surf, or it could be, dang, I'm really struggling nailing the pop-up, or I can't quite understand how I'm meant to turn, how is my body meant to move, where am I meant to look? So let's go through my SWOT list of motivation tactics. And number one is start small and goal set. This is critical. For example, in surfing, if you're a total beginner and aiming to get barreled, you'll only get frustrated if it doesn't happen straight away. Dang. So set yourself a target and then break that down into manageable steps. So for example, if you want to run 5 kilometers, my American friends, we speak in kilometers where I'm at over in Europe, 5K. Say you want to run 5 kilometers, but you've actually never run that much. You start small, baby steps, yeah? And firstly, for example, you might start with just a few minutes of running. It might just be getting around the block, finally, for the first time. You can change these parameters if you need to, but you'll just motivate yourself by reaching these targets and breaking it down. And in surfing, for example, if you're finding it hard to get to your feet smoothly, you want to execute a smooth, fast pop-up, break that down. Aim to perfect your hand placement. What's happening there? Are they in the right place? Your positioning on the board, critical. Where are my feet landing? Am I allowing space in my body for my front foot to get down? What's happening with my upper body positioning? Am I falling forward? Is my head back enough? Okay, break those things down, then tick them off step by step as you've done that. I've set myself some absolutely insane goals over the years, which at first seemed just like the stuff of fiction, maybe even science fiction. They still are kind of a lot of the time. But yeah, I broke them down step by step, and it's crazy when I think about tracing back some of my goals, which included learning to surf, starting my business. So I had like little baby steps, and these things can take time, but do that and then you'll tick them off, and it's just really motivating. So second thing, which I find really important, is the why. So why are you setting a goal, for example? What is the actual motivation behind what you're doing? Voicing it, exploring it, writing it down. It can be a fantastic process. You may be doing something to show what you're capable of, your own strengths, whether that's mental, pardon me, that just paused, whether that's mental or physical. Maybe it's somebody you care for. Having this in the forefront of your mind is an easy source to go back to when the times get hard. So when you feel demotivated, it's that intrinsic motivation within you. So it's not about anyone else, or it could be if you're doing it for someone, but listening to that voice inside you, the why am I doing this? You can rely on that, and actually that kind of spiritual motivation can be so much greater than any external motivation, like someone telling you to do it, for example. Third point, which is also very important for me, get stoked. So this can be easy to say or do, but if you're excited about your goal, that is just pure energy propelling you forward. Share that excitement with others, people you're close to, your best mates, your ever-suffering roommate. Always wanted to go on a surf trip, excited to nail the cross step or a cutback, get amped, harvest that energy, okay? You can ball it up and use it. It's like a ball of powerful energy propelling you forward. Print it out, post it up, stick it on your wall, stick it on the fridge. Have it in the forefront of your mind, okay? So, number 4. So we've all had mornings when we're just like, I don't want to go running. I don't want to put on my 5mm wetsuit. It's cold, it's raining, it's snowing. I don't want to write this report. I don't want to brainstorm this. I don't want to do that. Try and ignore that voice, and it's somewhat like ripping off a band-aid. So you just do it. For those of you who are, for example, cold water surfers, you know we've always had those mornings, even fair weather surfers, where we're just like, I can't be bothered to go out. I don't want to. It's cold. I'm tired. I haven't had my 5th coffee. I want a bacon sandwich or whatever. But I always think as soon as you ignore that voice and you just go for it, you tear the plaster off, do it. I defy that you won't feel good afterwards, guys. Yeah? So that leads me on to the next point, which is positive mindset. Now, a lot of people ask me about this. How are you so positive? I went through a process basically where I kind of like aim to replace negative thoughts with positive ones. So be aware though of the negative thoughts and shut them down. This can be stuff like, I can't do this. I can't get to my feet. She's better than me. He's better than me. I'll never be able to do that. I'm too slow. I'm too thin. I'm too fat. No. Replace these thoughts with positive bang words, positive action words, yeah? So I can do this. I just need to do XXX. My body is amazing. They are, and they're capable of the extraordinary, which it is. So sometimes we just need to take ourselves outside those comfort zones and replace that negative thought train with the positive. I've definitely had a lot of moments, especially in surfing, where I'm just like, I can't do it. I'm too slow. I'm not strong enough, blah, blah, blah. But then you'll have moments when I think your body and mind really surprise you. And the human body and mind is extraordinary. We are capable of so much more. I think we're often like quite complacent about it, but guys, we're like Stone Age, like freaking athlete hunters. We can like run after saber-toothed tigers and shit. So, you know, you got it. Next point. So point number 6, another really good one. They say your vibe attracts your tribe. Bit of a corny, archaic statement, but dang it, it's true. So surround yourself with people on your wavelength, yeah? Find those like-minded friends with similar interests to you and goals to you. Do you want to learn to surf? Do you want to be better at longboarding? Be a Jedi on a shortboard? Do you want to hang out and make friends with people who, you know, also do these things, and therefore you sharing similar goals and motivations, aiming for the next milestones together? They'll be as stoked as you as when you do reach those small goals. So surround yourself with people who are digging the same things as you, who are into the same things. Okay, you'll always find friends who are into whatever you're into, no matter how crazy and wacky you think it is. So point number 7, the milestone mayhem. So celebrating our small wins and goals. So this kind of leads on from point number 1. Once you finally get to those goals, it can be the small ones or the bigger goals. You figured out your bottom turn, you made it round the block on your first run, you've recorded your first podcast, or maybe it was just you woke up and you put some, you know, you didn't wear sweatpants today, you actually put some jeans on. Girl, get the fizz out, or whatever your poison of choice is, and celebrate. Have a mini celebration. Leverage that successful feeling and build on it, aiming for the next milestone. All right, so you want that to propel you forward to the next step. Pardon me. So next point. So we are often shooting in the dark if we don't source the skills of people more qualified and knowledgeable than us. Now, this is something I have learned, especially when it pertains to surfing. So I was one of those classic surfers. I want everyone else in this group to say hands up, whatever, if you were to, who didn't get coaching for a long time. I was like thrashing around in the white water, just like clueless. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like following my ex-boyfriend, who was as much use as a chocolate teapot out there, and didn't help me, and he just didn't, you know, even teach me how to get to my feet. And then I was just like, what the heck am I doing? After a long time doing that, I had like one lesson, cleared up like freaking years of mistakes. So you want to invest in your passion, get a coach, learn from someone else, maybe someone better from you. Take classes. Your rate of progress is likely to be much higher. Get help, okay? That is extremely motivating. So yeah, let me know if you had a similar problem to me. Yes, so point number 9, the visualization method. Okay, so this is something a lot of professional athletes live by, and it's critical for them. Okay, they are literally imagining and dreaming of that gold medal or that world championship #1 spot. Same thing with any of your goals or what you're trying to be motivated for. Visualize what it is you want to do. Like, imagine it, taste it. Like, I'm running down the beach, I feel the sand between my toes, like how the water feels. Maybe you're learning to surf, you've done it. Like, visualize it in your head, getting to your feet, what's happening to your body, the feeling, the sensation. Okay, so the visualization method is key. I do this all the time. I would actually say it's one of the key things that's propelled me through my career. I really, really visualize, like, what is it exactly that I want? What is it I want to feel? What is it I want to do? What is the end goal? And I visualize it. So, point number 10, remember why you're doing it. The initial joy or pleasure. We've got to go back to that feeling. We can all find things boring and get demotivated, especially if we're doing it, for example, day in, day out. But remember why you're doing it. Do you love being in nature, for example? Do you love how the ocean feels on you? If it's running, do you just love being outside by the trees? Do you love pushing yourself? So come back to that point and remember it, because that will be critical. That's almost like the heart and soul of everything. So that's my little motivation SWOT list. I have a more extended one. Someone's just asked if I surf regular or goofy. I am a goofy footer. But yes, so that's my little motivation hit list. And yeah, I feel like, just remembering those points can be so useful, especially when you're just like, oh, I have no motivation. Okay, you can use that for day-to-day stuff like getting out of bed as well. Just like, why do I want to get out of bed? Oh yeah, cereal is delicious. I'm gonna have an amazing bowl of cereal and my favorite coffee. Just think about things you're looking used to, Cool, so we're actually gonna go on to surfing a little bit more specifically now. Just gonna have a drink of water. If I have any water left, actually. Cool, so surfing, one thing I really want to talk about is the plateau. And everyone is digging my hat. Thank you. It's because my hair, I look like an electrocuted poodle. It's been a while since I've been in the hands of a hairdresser, like all of us. But yeah, so surfing, the plateau. The plateau is a place we often find ourselves struggling. Running up that little hill a little bit, we slide back down it, we feel like we're not progressing, and we can get incredibly demotivated. Again, there are things we can do to break down within that plateau to get us out of it and onto the next little lump of learning and surfing. So, we've all been in that place, and it can be very demotivating and annoying, and hell, I've definitely cried about it before when I've been like learning. And even now, I'm still learning to surf, even though it's so many years later. You are always learning. So I think if we boil it down, there's a couple of things we can really, really look at. And one, that's bad habits. So if there's something that's not allowing you to progress forward and you're being demotivated by it, it could be down to bad habits. So is it something to do with your posture on the board? Is your feet positioning correct? Your upper body, your head? Have a look at these things. Like, you need to boil it down again. One of my favorite methods is to actually practice pop-ups in front of a mirror, or get yourself filmed doing it, get a friend to film you. What exactly is happening? Try get like the 360 picture, because one small little problem with the posture and positioning can actually really drastically impact the rest of your surfing. Maybe you keep falling, for example. Maybe you're just like capsizing forward constantly. I guarantee if you were to look at a video or photo of yourself, your upper body would probably be too far forward. You're just leaning too far forward. Your head's looking down. You're looking down. If you look down, you're going to go down. So checking out the posture of what's happening. Same thing, if, for example, if you're trying to execute turns and it's just not happening. Let's look at a video. Are you actually changing the direction of your shoulders and head and looking where you want to go? That is critical in executing turns and maneuvers. Maybe you're not doing that. Maybe the shoulders are turning, but you're just still looking straight to the beach. So you need to have a look at that positioning and see what's happening. Breaking those bad habits of what you're actually doing. Same thing when it comes to other bad habits in surfing, when it comes to, for example, paddling. Maybe you're just getting gassed, burning all your energy paddling out. And by the time you get out to the lineup, you're just like, I am smoked. I've got nothing left in me. Hands up if you've been there. Yeah, I've been there. So I really wanted to like fine tune my paddling, and there's so many methods, little tiny tweakments you can do to make it a more streamlined process. So you're just not getting gassed. You want to be like cruising through the water. So by the time you get to the lineup and you're going for a wave, at those critical moments when you're really paddling, those 3 dynamic strokes, when you're getting into the wave, when you're on the wave, executing your maneuvers, you've got all your power and energy ready for those critical moments. So yeah, there's plenty of, what you can do to look at bad habits. I'd highly recommend video analysis, photos, like boil it down in front of your mirror right now, because a lot of us aren't surfing. So get in front of a mirror, have a look at your pop-ups. Yes, I agree. Breathing exercises is great for paddling. Yeah, so same thing with gear. A lot of us don't take a lot of time to really check out our gear. Is your wetsuit actually fitting you correctly? Could be a little bit tight, could be a bit too big. We want to, you know, take care of our stuff and really make sure that we are well fitted for it. And now leading on to boards, often, especially when it comes to beginner surfers, we'll be going straight for, a lot of beginners are like, okay, well, short boards look cool, so I want to go straight for that. But it's all about, you know, getting as many waves as possible for beginners, intermediates. So really you want to be on something that's a lot bigger with a lot of volume. I'm a real big fan of surfing foamies all the time anyway, but especially when you're a beginner, it's all about getting as many waves as possible under your belt, perfecting the pop-up. So don't go straight to a small board. You know, the amount of times I've seen people who have gone straight to a small board and they're just getting super, super annoyed, really demotivated because they can't catch a thing. You just want to catch waves, guys. It's all about getting as many waves as you can, nailing those first critical movements. So make sure you're surfing the right board for yourself. And then when you want to progress, you might go to a mal. You might want to start trying out longboards. You can also get some really nice beefy sort of shorter boards. I have a really fun twin fin from a Cornish shaper called Watershed, who I love. But it's pretty beefy. It's like a 5'8", but it's, you know, it's got a lot of volume, and that's quite a fun little wave catcher. Yeah, and then another thing to help you get out the plateau is your crew. So again, going back to that point from motivation, who are you surrounding yourself with? It's always really good to surf with people who are better than you, I think. Obviously, you want to be, like, if you're a beginner, be with other beginners too. But once you leave that little circle, for example, and go out into the big wide yonder, try and be with people who are more experienced. They've got so much to share with you, a lot of knowledge. You can watch them, and, like, I mean, the amount of times I spend just watching people who surf better than me in the water, like, I'll literally just sit there, like, get some popcorn out and line up, see what people are doing. But yeah, so I would say that is vital. Surround yourself with people who are better than you. Hey, Elsa. Because that can really help you, like, live, like, see what these better surfers are doing, and then you can try and copy that, essentially. And then also, obviously, taking lessons and increasing your bank of knowledge. There's so much you can learn from coaches. Maybe you kind of feel like you don't need a coach. Say you're kind of like intermediate or more advanced. But, you know, the most advanced surfers in the world are still getting lessons. And actually, I'm going to be investing in some because I have some things I want to work on this year with my surfing. So always just invest in that. It might be a lesson here and there, a couple of courses every few years, but just keep bolstering your knowledge, keep learning. Cool, guys. So that's the little surf chat. I'm actually going to open up the floor to questions. So I'll just let that kind of filter through. And as I do so, I'm going to take a really big swig of coffee. But yeah, your questions can be about anything to do with motivation, surfing, like life questions you've got right now. I'm very happy to answer. If they're X-rated, I will not be answering, and I'll be booting you off it. So just so you know that. But yeah, thanks for listening. Hopefully you've been enjoying the chat. But now the floor is open to you guys. It's question and answer time. I'm looking forward to hearing some of them. I actually had a question come through for me on DM, on my direct messages, about getting through breakups. So that was quite a good one. Getting through breakups. Yeah, you need the motivation to do it. I think in breakups, there's always going to be a really tricky bit at the beginning, when you're kind of like mourning a relationship. But I think you begin to like make those little baby steps again. So like make some baby steps of how you're going to get out of it. Have I ever been to Polzeath Beach? Yes, so beautiful. I love Polzeath. Cornwall's obviously one of the most magical places in the whole world. Missing it desperately right now. Can you teach us extra paddling exercises? Yeah, so there's so much you can do on land to actually get stronger for paddling. So if you're feeling like you really struggle with your paddling, I actually did a workout 2 weeks ago on the channel going through some of them. But you want to really be focusing on like the upper body, like back, focusing on back exercises so you can get stronger, especially in the upper body, which is really critical. So again, slowing down your breath work, but just like get training, incorporate strength training, and then you'll find that your paddling will be more streamlined. Also, front crawl in a swimming pool is a fantastic way to get stronger for paddling. How do you overcome confidence issues in the surf? What board do you ride? Okay, I'll do what board do I ride first. I ride a couple of boards actually. I'm a jack of all trades. I love my 5/8 twin fin. I absolutely love longboarding, and then I like sort of classic shapes in between as well. How do I overcome confidence issues in the surf? Yeah, this is something I think a lot of us struggle with, but stop comparing yourself to other people is the first thing. You're out there for you. You're out there to have fun and enjoy it, and it's about your pleasure in there, you know? Like, you don't need to compare what you're doing to someone else. As soon as you let go of those niggling gripes, maybe it's to do with, I don't feel confident enough to surf well out here. You know, you've got every right to be in the space you're at. So as long as you're surfing safely, you don't need to go straight for like the bombs or like the tubes out back. You know, again, it's all about goal setting, breaking it down. You'll feel more confident if you're surfing in a place that's actually suitable for the level you're at. And if it's confidence when it comes to anything else pertaining to surf, again, just like, you got to try let go of those voices. Remember the reason why you're there, like the inherent joy. More paddling exercises, yeah. How would you suggest finding your passion before applying motivation? That's a fantastic question. How do we find our passions? I'm actually going to be doing a course on this soon. That's a really good question. So, you know, I think that the brainstorming sessions are absolutely critical for this. Maybe you want to make a career change, or maybe you want to get into something new. I would just spend lots of time, you know, journaling, exploring. Maybe you're just even thinking, like, what are the things that I enjoy? What is it that I get that inherent stoke for? Now, I have a couple of activities that I get this like burning, amazing feeling. I feel so alive and amazing. I'm just going back up to your questions. Yeah, so you want to harvest that feeling because it feels fantastic. I've done so many charts in my time throughout my life when it comes to work, passions, even love sometimes, about finding my passion. Like, what do I want to do in my career? I'll do a huge thing about where am I getting the most enjoyment? What companies inspire me? Who inspires me? Same thing with interests. So maybe you're like, I really want to try something new, but I don't know what it is. Think about things you enjoy. Do I enjoy being outside in nature? Do I enjoy the dynamics of being in a group of people? Do I enjoy solo? Do I enjoy the sensation of the water? Do some brainstorming, get charting, talk to people who are experts in these fields as well. Yoga is fantastic for surfing. It's not a surprise that so many pro surfers cite the virtues of yoga. It's fantastic for not just flexibility and mobility, which is so critical for surfing, and older surfers will agree with me. I think Kelly Slater's quite famous for sort of saying this, and a lot of surfers say they rue the day they didn't start yoga as they get older, because it's so fantastic for our joints mobility, and also for, again, the breath work. So breath work can really help with surfing, staying calm. If we have wipeouts and we start to breathe quickly and hyperventilate, that's when you sometimes drink in water and it makes you panic more. So just calm, slow breath work. Hi from Morocco. Cool. So what's my favorite surf spot? I have so many favorite surf spots. I'm quite a creature of the world. I don't know. So my sort of like home country is Portugal, and I love surfing in Portugal. There's something about how crystal clear the water is. There's some amazing like nature parks over there. So there's some breaks I absolutely love in the south of Portugal, where my home is. In the UK as well, so little so known about it unless you're normally from the UK. But there's some amazing spots in Devon and Cornwall. I've had some of the surfs of my life there. Again, like, nature is resplendent. I absolutely love Central America. I love like Latin culture. The waves are so consistent. So I'm a big fan of heading over to Costa Rica. I had a really, really good time surfing in El Salvador as well. The waves were a bit more punchy, lots of right point breaks. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, Leanne. Have you ever been to Bali? These will be like the last questions coming in now, guys. I've been to Bali, yes. I actually spend quite a lot of time there. My family have a bit of business over there. So I go to Bali a lot. I'm like hugely in love with the Balinese people. They are so kind and brilliant. Obviously the waves are amazing too. That's a really special culture over there. And yeah, I'm a really, really passionate fan of Bali. And I think you asked me if I'd been to Polza. So last questions, guys. Seems like a few of you had wanted some more paddling tips. I would say do strength training on land. You want to focus on the upper body and also like a strong trunk and core. So Supermans are really good. Push press if you've got dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells right now, heavy bags of sugar or fill up some rucksacks. Doing some push presses, pull-ups, push-ups. If you can get paddle training in a swimming pool. Also, yoga's fantastic. Cool. So, what's the best piece of advice you've ever heard? Oh, that is a fantastic question. Do you know what? I would say it would probably be like just listening to my inner voice. I had a bit of a eureka moment maybe about 7 years ago where I was really told to tune into, it's almost that sixth sense of yours. Everyone's got this like inner voice that's really powerful and we can often not listen to it. And it gives us really fantastic advice. And I think that also comes down to like it guiding us as to what we really want to do in life, what we're most motivated about. So listen to that sixth sense of yours, guys, that inner voice that's guiding you. Really great here. Now 45, just started yoga at home, having been unable. Day 6 of a 30-day course. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Thanks for everyone who's been tuning in. Last few questions now. Who has inspired you? Good questions. I've had a lot of amazing figures in my life, actually. I've had some quite powerful male role models as well. I lost my dad. He passed away when I was young. And I sort of collected these father figures around the world. And actually one of my surf coaches in Costa Rica, who's like a really hilarious man, was a big inspiration to me. I'm really inspired by my sister, who is older than me and is just like the kindest, coolest chick in the world. Someone who really showed me the merits of pursuing a dream and also working really hard and of being tenacious and resilient. Don't give up. Yeah, things take hard work, guys. So not giving up, like never give up. Remember that initial guiding voice at the beginning, your why, that intrinsic motivation. So I think maybe we'll be dialing down the live. I'm so glad it looks like you've all been enjoying it. This has been a really fun one for me. Actually, I've really, really enjoyed talking to all of you. And my sister was watching. That's great. So again, it's been amazing to see you guys tuning in from all around the world. Honestly, this has like made my week. It's so cool to speak with everyone from all around the planet. Again, sending a lot of love to everybody right now. And what I will say is just, staying motivated, but it's the small wins, guys. Maybe it's like I said, taking off your sweatpants for the day. But thank you so much for tuning in, sending love to every single person who tuned in. If you have any questions or you want to talk to me further, you can DM me, get in touch with me on Instagram at SophieMadToLive. Very happy to keep chatting. I've got more courses and workshops coming out, so you can actually access this one again. I'm going to be putting it up. But yeah, so at me, SophieMadToLive, SOPHIE. And have an amazing day. Also DM me, let me know how you're getting on with your motivation, if you're setting any cool challenges, and just have an amazing day. Yeah, I think I'm going to go have myself some brekkie. But lots of love, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.